And all these diamonds give me confidence.
Them ain't diamonds,
bro. Don't say that on the podcast, bro. Just stop it. Anyway, how y'all doing?
Welcome to the Offspace podcast. It's your host with the motherfucking most true offer.
And it's your favorite co-host, aka the boy with the VVs, Ezigo offer.
Yes, sir. VVs! But even though this nigga calls me a lame nigga, because I say I want the VVs and the baguettes, he said, bro, I want to be different, bro. I want some emeralds.
I didn't say emeralds, but I would definitely love some. Because it's like, bro, diamonds are fucking overrated. If y'all don't know, actually, because it's destroying the youth and just the marriages, essentially, when all of y'all getting divorced after spending 3 months around on a diamond, you know, go ahead and look into the actual value of diamonds, then change your mind on that a little bit.
Yeah, but the way that these diamonds hit on a real nigga.
I gotta stop talking before some of these underworld diamond lords start trying to come for me.
Right? They're gonna be like, bro, is he driving the price down?
Because these aren't the type of dudes you play with, low-key.
You can't
keep buying your diamonds.
Diamonds are forever. But anyways,
Shane's Jewelers.
Y'all can already see what kind of mood we're on for the podcast. But happy to be back. Happy to be sitting next to my dog again. Back in our regular setting. Bro, I'm always happy to be sitting next to my dog. That's him.
I heard you were talking a lot of shit off the podcast, bro.
But I said it's him.
Hey, you know what?
That's him.
Nobody wins when the family feuds.
Not one person wins when the family feuds. But we've been on a little bit of a hiatus, a little bit of inactivity when it comes to our social accounts and the podcast. But to be completely honest with y'all, we have been just taking a mental break, just being honest. Like every fucking company in the world, every freaking company. I told my mom I was going to be better about cussing on this.
You agreed?
And to be honest, yes, I agreed.
I'm proud of you.
I'm trying to be better. But every freaking company on this planet like does their little end of the year. Everybody gets a bunch of time off. You know what I'm saying?
Man, look, screw the end of the year. Every company gives their workers
PTO and stuff like that.
Time off in general, bro. We've been doing this every week. At some points, 2 times a week for the last year and a half. So at this point, I think y'all as the viewers can be okay with, and are probably okay with, your boys getting a break to bring y'all the type of quality content we've been striving to from the beginning.
Especially for episode 97, 98, I forget which one, low-key.
We're getting close to 100.
And we hear you guys. We are going to do something cool for the 100th episode, but to not dilly-dally too much, I want to give you guys a minimal rundown of just some of the stuff we've been working on while we've been, getting prepped for this start back up. One, we're not going to dive too much into the exact ideas, of course, but I just want to give a big shout out to Ezigo, of course, for being a big part of our creative vision. And so we have a lot of things already in the works. We have a lot of things planned for 2021 that are going to be so fucking gnarly, so freaking gnarly, bro. I didn't go in a minute without cussing, bro.
It's all right. It's a work in progress. You never said you'd be perfect. You said you try.
Yeah, that is true. Mom, I am trying because she does love these too. But
that was really weird to hear.
Isn't that right? But I know I love it. I love it so much. But so we have things we're working on. We've done a ton of planning. We're now in the stages of kind of post-production with those things in terms of just actualizing these plans.
Yeah, because ideas are one thing, but, and this is what I was talking about to a cousin of ours, actually, who has really big ideas of how he plans on helping his family. It's ideas are good and dandy, and I'm never trying to strike those down, but especially for people who are entrepreneurs, you have to realize getting married to an idea is you shouldn't do, but I'll get past that. Once you have an idea, you have to be able to actually conceptualize actionable steps to getting that idea done and brought into reality. So that's where we're kind of at now, actually getting some of these ideas brought into reality. And I'm not going to sit here and tell y'all that it's coming January 1st. I'm not going to sit here telling you it's coming January 20th. It's going to come after the new year, but it's going to be early-ish after the New Year's. And that's all I'll say for now.
And we have good steps to continually and gradually take over with our whole vision of the creative network and all that. For Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 of 2021. So, I mean, please, thank you for being patient, and I'm excited to share all of this with you guys, but not to go too far in and not to skim over too much of Christmas details and stuff, because we did drop a Christmas special, which is now on YouTube, and the audio should be up before you guys listen to this in the first place. But
showing love to those YouTube listeners.
For sure. They got it first, absolutely. So the YouTube link and all of that will be in the bio, like always. But we will skip over all of our past week and holiday stuff because it's in the video. So y'all got to go click it to check out.
Not necessarily, because there's some things I got to talk to for the people.
Go hard, homie. You know what this is? This is the Offspace, nigga. It's both of ours. You feel me?
No, the way he said that made it sound like it was his, but he's giving me my time to shine. So, you know what? I see what you're trying to do. I'm just kidding. And honestly, after I said that too, I had all this shit prepped and planned. and I need to be better about writing it down. But even if I did, my phone's over there, so I'm gonna just let us roll into the rest because I forgot the important thing I was gonna say.
So then another thing I wanted to talk about just when you go into being actionable, and I want to use this front period before we get into heat checks and a lot of the news that we tend to talk about. I wanted to use this front period to really talk about New Year in general. Like me, I'm somebody, and you're gonna have, of course, like maybe some similar but very different views on like how I see it, of course, because that's just us as people. But when it comes to New Year's and like New Year's resolutions and all of that, I was always a pretty big resolutioner for the past, like, for most of my adult life, to be quite honest.
Yeah, you've always loved those.
But then, no diss.
But
then, like, this is the first year that really, like, I have no New Year's resolutions because everything that I want to change in 2021, I've already started working on, because I've just genuinely gained the mindset and mentality of the fact that setting something off to a date like, yo, starting Monday, or yo, starting next week, or yo, starting this for some of your goals isn't really the healthiest and isn't really like the most effective tactic to actually get these goals done for me personally. And so now that I've learned that, I've just started making steps to changing my life for the better in those regards already. And it's already looking fruitful. It's already looking better. So I mean, shouts out, and it's only going to keep getting better in 2021. But what I will share for like New Year's resolutions, like little things that I've put to the side on that aspect, like something I want to do and just change from like the typical stuff that I would look at as like an outline for my year is going to be, one, as y'all see me hitting these guys, like I'm trying to, within the next couple weeks, tentatively like plan on just not necessarily cold turkeying, maybe cold turkeying, because that's been the best tactic. Once again, this is just tried and true like stuff I've learned from myself, and get that out of the way, because that's one thing that's been inhibiting and harboring me from like being my best self as of recent. And then another thing I want to do,
that's a hard one, but it's definitely doable.
Super hard one. Oh my God. Especially like drinking and stuff like that. Like I thought I'd find nothing that replaces, and like the drunk like cig, like it's still a magical feeling, but that's one like that is just so obviously and blatantly bad for you that like it was easy to throw that away. But like the drunk hide hit, like, or the drunk little disposable hit,
that it masks like how bad it is, because you know you don't get all the extra chemicals from a cig.
Feel me? I've kind of gained the love for it.
It's hella nicotine.
For sure. And so that's a big one. And then I will share one more, because the rest of my stuff, once again, are goals that I've already started, and I will share more as we go along.
And then I got some for that for sure.
I have a big goal of mine. A big goal is to do a whole body reset. And I'm somebody, pause, that loves me and loves like
why'd you have to pause, bro?
Don't do this. But anyways, just loves
like
barbecue, loves just like ribeyes, loves steaks. Just, bro, niggas can't keep me away from chicken. Like fried chicken, wings, like whatever variants. And just like you guys are hearing a beep now because I'm definitely cooking some food. So that's going to be annoying for 2 seconds. But all right, thank God. I really thought that was going to go on for a second. Yeah, like what? But anyways, that shit caught me off guard. I was like, nigga, I put the rice on. I was like,
how often have you used it?
But like, no, another thing that I put on that goals list genuinely is to cut back truly cut back on my consumption of red meat, if not all the way give it up in 2021, but at least at a bare minimum for my health, because I need to refocus like my diet, because I've gotten into impeccable shape and it can only get better with cutting and little things of that nature. But it's like I'm bouncy again, I'm fast again, like all the little things I missed. I'm not as agile, but I mean, like I'm also just like big bodied now, which I'm happy for because I like how I look. But one other thing that I wanted to edit is just diet, because that's a big part of that lifestyle. And so like I'm tired of running like my 5K or more and knowing that I can do it, that I can do it decently, but at the end feeling like I want to go plank in traffic because I just feel so fucking terrible. You know what I'm saying? Like a big part of it is diet. And so, and your recovery process and just how you feel in general on a day to day. So I'm trying to choose these out of these 3. If you guys have some data, obviously I just rewatched What the Health so I can scare myself into, like...
None of that scares me, which is kind of awful, but yeah.
But I rewatched What the Health, but now I've broken it down into 3 different things. I either want to do vegetarian, pescatarian, or just full-fledged vegan. If any of you guys have words of advice or anything of that nature and want to DM us, I would, of course, appreciate either at Chuka Offer or at the Offspace podcast. Just send messages. I'd appreciate love, and I'd appreciate just like ideas and just advice from people that do live those lifestyles, because if I could make a smooth enough transition, last time I did it wasn't for the right reasons. I looked back and it was just like me trying to put on a facade, right, that I thought was what needed to be accepted. But I mean, like, now it's just truly making the decision for my health. And so if I make a seamless enough transition, I'd be down to rock it out and just occasionally give myself, you know, like, the breaks.
And it's not going to be that bad when you actually transition, because I was thinking about it too. Not on the tip of like I'm trying to be a pescatarian or vegetarian or anything, like I drastically changed my lifestyle.
That's hard in the Nigerian household too. Ooh, that rice and stew.
Come on now, I'm not giving up meat. I just know that. But I've made better decisions on how I responsibly eat meat, so I'm not contributing to, again, like a lot of like I would say unsustainable environmental practices that we have when it comes to like that whole market. But for myself, I just decided that I want to eat healthier because I know me when I'm not eating well, not only is my mental affected, just noticeably I'm sadder, I'm way more lazy, and I mean, none of that's conducive to me accomplishing any of the goals I have for myself. So that was just one big tip, I guess, of me needing to change my diet. But past that, I like doing physical activities, you know? And so...
Real active boys.
Exactly.
You know?
So... getting, I guess, like my diet in place is needed to get my body back where it needs to be to enjoy some of the physical feats I want to be able to like check off in my future. I'm not saying I'm going to be some marathon runner or like ultra runner or some shit. However, I want to have the option, you know, I don't want that to be dead because I just chose not to, rather than like, obviously if you don't have the ability, because like you have like one leg or something. I've seen motherfuckers do it with one leg. So really, I'm just messing up. I mean, I'm not going to curse anymore, Mom. But I'm just messing up. But I mean,
and I want to see us do like stuff like, I want it to be like me and Esgo being like 40 and like however odd age for you, like probably like 37, 38, like with everything.
This man doesn't know how old I am.
Bro, don't do that. But anyways, like, bro, but anyways, I want to see us like older, right? And then like you see like a DJ's ass or fucking or freaking anybody else like hit us up and be like, yo, who's trying to run pickup or something, and then still come and dog these boys. Like, you ain't got the facilities.
I want to be like Dwayne Wade playing Zaire and you letting him know, like, look, I could be old, but you got to earn it.
You got to earn it.
I'm
you
good.
Know?
I'm still
I
in
don't
shape.
care if my son's 18, 19, you know what I'm saying? You
like,
got to earn it.
I might not be NBA shape, but I'm in shape enough to beat you. So that's a big goal of mine, which I've already started, again, because New Year's isn't a point where everything magically goes for me again. Everything I want to do, I'll take actionable steps to get them started at the inception of the idea, because that's the only way I seem to get things done. So past that, again, I'm in the New Year's realm and New Year's thing. The only things I am starting a little bit later are things that I've been thinking about now, knowing that it's kind of been a nice point in my life to where I was able to accomplish my goals when it came to the streaming tip, as well as like just gaming, what I wanted out of gaming.
You want to get a concealed carry license?
I'm not even talking to you right now on that. So I was able to accomplish my goals and become a Twitch affiliate, as well as get to Diamond 1, you know what I'm saying, on this game I like to play. So
heavy, by the way.
But
what do those percentages look like? How many people in there?
For where I was at, where I peaked, bro, it was like less than 1% of players.
Of the whole player?
In like 3 million people.
That's it?
It's whatever. It is what it is. It's
light,
casual.
something light.
So doing that's huge, and it taught me, when I have a goal, I already know, like, when I have a goal, I'm relentless towards it, but knowing how to set goals along the way of where I want to be, because this is just the start, you know. I didn't, like, start streaming so I can become a Twitch affiliate, then quit and, like, cap myself, you know. Like, I want to get to wherever I'm going with it, but that, I'll see how far that can go from setting up these short-term goals and aggressively attacking them. So I've kind of taken this last week, I would say, to redefine what some goals are for me personally, and take those into the New Year's moving forward. So I'm still shaping those out. They're not fully set, but I think I'm going to have them set in the next, probably by the turn of the new year, funny enough. So, you know, we're, again, looking forward to some things.
For sure, and I'm proud of you on that.
Appreciate it, man.
And so, to get right into our regularly scheduled programming, one last thing I want to say for the end of the year roundups, we may just do a poll on our Instagram and see if people care to know, just because it's not just going to be rap. It's not just going to be like hip hop in general. It could be just like all genres, whatever. But since we do talk about music and we do talk about moments, you know, like, would it be worth it doing like an end of the year wrap up? Would y'all watch something like that? Would y'all like to tune into something like that?
And if we did, I want y'all to ask too, because knowing that we might not be the most experts in certain realms. Like, I can comfortably say at this point, at least when I know it comes to you, you're an expert when it comes to like rap music and stuff. you might not be an expert when it comes to pop, and you might hold yourself to a different category because you like it so much. You know where the top people are for like A&Rs on how much they really like taking all this music.
Those people know way
so
more than me.
It's definitely levels to this shit. So these wrap ups might not be the best because who the fuck are we to tell you what's the best of this music? But we'd love to dabble into some shit that is like what our favorites have been from the year in these different realms. So prefacing that a little bit.
Absolutely. But I mean, at the end of the day too, like, and I'm going to say this in a Chuka way without using Chuka verbiage. Nigga, it's our list. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so like if we end up doing some sort of list or some sort of roundup or some sort of anything like that, like one, like you respectfully SMD to anybody that cares that much to like come and vindicate. But two, I'm ready to stand on anything I say. You already know number one on that list is about to be My Turn Deluxe. So I mean, like we might as well like get to number 2 and 3. Like,
there was a list because I say that and
I know B-Dot's list.
Yeah, I was about to say there was a list who. Keep in mind, I'm not someone who like really frequents Clubhouse like that. I'll pop in every so often just to see what's up and maybe like if I'm super bored. Hop in some conversations and enjoy myself.
Great application.
I popped in and there was a room of a lot of people killing this man B-Dot for a list that he made that was subjective. And I'm just looking at it like, yo, I'm afraid to speak up right now. I didn't even have the right to speak up, but I was afraid to speak up because it was like, yo, they're really going in on this man for his opinion. But you know, I didn't even know you could do that.
You know how it is with stuff that niggas care about, though? That instantly it's the barbershop. Like, we've been in the barbershop with dudes with a vein coming out the side of their neck talking about there's no one that will ever unseat, like, Jordan as the greatest ever. And there will be, like, the 30-something-year-old talking about it's Bron, though. And then, like, the 40-plus-year-old, like, old heads would be like, y'all ain't ever seen Jordan play the stuff Bron doing he was able to do versus 18 niggas in the paint.
You want me to be real with you, though? It's funny though because I'm not trying to sound like an all lives matter dude, but I'm never the guy who instantly in like realms like these will hop on to why I view it as a race issue. Like you've seen it with like the Jake Paul shit. Like I was just like, dude, it's just fighting, man. Like people need to get over that whole is Jake Paul beating up Nate Robinson racist? No, nigga, they both got into a ring. It's not. But when I saw that shit, it makes me sad, bro, because they're holding this nigga to a way different standard because I know he's of this culture and he is a black man, bro. Because I'm telling you, there's a million white dudes out there that had Jack Harlow as their favorite rapper of the year. There's a million people out there that had all these albums, like these niche
that's
things.
The thing that
I'm just like, if it wasn't him, like, well, let me round out. If it wasn't him and it was in a different tip, they would not be going as hard on that man. So it's like you got to give people a little bit more room to breathe for just being an individual rather than holding them to a standard of a whole community.
And to be completely honest, I think B-Dot enjoys shit like that because he put out the top 10 rappers, then he put out the top 10 albums, then he put out like another list right after all of the negative feedback because of the fact that B-Dot is somebody that's actually respected in the community. And people would only mention this stuff because they're respected in the community, right? Like if Lil Pump put out his top 10 list, who is going to talk about it?
Yeah, but you know,
who's going to talk about it? Who's going to argue?
I feel what you're saying.
Who's going to even argue? And so, like, we will try to do something like that for you guys. But actually, speaking of Jack Harlow, we'll get into our heat checks for the week.
Yeah, speaking of it, yo, this is actually so terrible now because I don't have my phone. But the song "Way Out," Jack Harlow featuring Big Sean, is an entire vibe, man. I'm not gonna lie. There's points in that. It's like one of those anthems again that makes me wish it was summer, but it's cold as hell out. There was a point in it where I remember Big Sean was making a line, and I know a lot of y'all got choice words on Big Sean for some reason in 2020. Like this man don't really rap like that. You know, Detroit versus everybody, but
Detroit versus everybody.
But this man really still has such like fun bars, and he was talking about how he was whispering in this girl's ear or some shit, like asking her something, and before he even asked the question, she's talking about yes, like he didn't even ask yet, and instantly, I know like it's not people's first reactions to really like something when it's not this stank face, like damn that's hard. I started laughing, but I loved the line, you know, like it was moments like that I appreciate.
And I love Sean.
The video was crazy, by the way.
I love Sean. I need to watch that, to be
video
honest.
Was really
but
nice.
I love this year for Sean especially because it seemed kind of like a year. He talked about the going through therapy and like really grounding himself. And it seems like he's just back to having fun doing this shit, man. And so all the jokes and like all whatever aside, like I'm just super proud of Big Sean. And I want to give him a big shout out for the monstrous 2020 that he had because he dropped Detroit 2 and he's just been on all of these features as well. It seems like he's really just been enjoying himself in hip hop.
You know what I think it is?
That makes me so happy. But a big point
before you go on, to expound on that, I think a lot of people when they're getting out of their primes of it, get too wrapped up in the competitive aspect of rap, of trying to be number one and trying to be constantly buzzing and things like that, which at some point I understand that rap is like a competitive field and things like that. But to be a rapper, you don't have to make it competitive. You can exist in a realm where you're just having fun, especially when you've had a solidified name and you already have your Hall of Fame career. You know what I mean? Like, enjoy retirement a little bit. Not actual retirement, but enjoy stepping back and just doing you and living life. And I think that's the realm that he's kind of fallen into now, that A, he's going to make the best music can at this point, because I know he's comfortable again and not like in his head about all this stuff. But B, he's just going to be feeling the vibe.
And that's my favorite kind of rap. To be honest, I was going to talk about that in terms of just like Hit Boy being probably producer of the year. Not probably, but in my eyes, producer of the year. Because Hit Boy seemed to just be on a tip where he just brought everybody out of their... brought the fun back for anybody that he's been with, like to where they get an album executive produced by Hit Boy and he just brings the best out of these niggas. And he gave us the best Nas album I've probably heard in 10-15 years, and it's just like, I'm still the dude that checks for Nas albums, you know what I'm saying? Like,
don't forget to ask me that question that you were talking about.
Oh yeah, I got you we're gonna get to that. But so that was his heat check. Way Out, Jack Harlow featuring Big Sean. My heat check, and is why I'm wearing this Crenshaw shirt, is just shouts out to the Marathon TMC clothing, the Marathon clothing, just because of how solid their pieces are. Feels nice, genuinely fits real nice. I look sexy as hell in these shits, but hey
man, young man, feel yourself.
I gotta.
What am I gonna
if
say?
I don't, who else will? You feel
exactly.
me? Like, come on now,
I can't judge you.
But like, getting on a little bit, Jay Stone, who's one of Nip's homies, signed All Money In as well. He released a project, and they had a bunch of features on there as well from the likes of like Davies, T.I., Nipsey, and etc. The list goes on and on. But I mean, the main thing I wanted to point out is the Jay Stone project has genuinely been like the number one music I've been listening to for the past week, because it's a solid ass project. That nigga went crazy. A lot of his solo songs, like if I listed like my top 5 songs on it, my heat check's number 1, which is Started With Nothin. It's Jay Stone featuring Nipsey Hussle and T.I. R.I.P. Nipsey Hussle. But I mean, like, Nip went crazy, like went actually just nuclear on that verse, went crazy. But and T.I. went hard too, so it was a nice, well-rounded song. But I'm always going to be partial to like getting those gems of verses that Nip still had in the tuck that were nuts, you know. But two, like, my favorite thing about this album is there was another Nip feature, and once again, I'm very, very obviously partial to Nipsey Hussle. I will say that till the day I die. But I'm telling you, like, this Jay Stone project probably there was at least, if I can name 5 songs, like the next 4 are Jay Stone solo songs. Like, this nigga went dumb. Like, one song with Davies, he went crazy too, but it was such a solid project. So shouts out to Jay Stone as well for The Definition of Pain by Jay Stone. That's the whole project. But the song itself, that is my heat check, it Started With Nothin. Jay Stone featuring Nipsey Hussle and T.I. And moving right into our music section, just about some of the albums that came out. I wanted to just talk about a single that I feel like I didn't talk about on this podcast when it released in November, but has also been getting like extreme, like crazy spins for me, which is Back in Blood by Pooh Shiesty featuring Lil Durk. That's I don't know if it was him that made Shiesty come back in like people's like vocabulary, but I needed it. That shit is so crazy. And Durk goes, Pooh, my dog. Well, Pooh, you know I'm really shiesty. Ooh.
It's like, oh my God. Honest to God, I never want to see them get caught up on charges of any capacity.
At all, genuinely.
But hearing those, it's just like, I feel it.
And then,
I'm here.
Moving on from that, just once again, that's Back in Blood.
I love how we have such different shit that we are trying to highlight in this my bad, such different stuff that we're trying to highlight in this musical zone.
No, for sure. Because I didn't listen to much music, just being real, but this isn't an exclusive music podcast, so I don't care that much. Like, if there's weeks that we feel like it's jam-packed, we'll go hard. If not, we'll just go into whatever we want to get into. But I wanted to give a big shout-out to actually Lil Durk, period, because Lil Durk released the album... he released the Voice album. It's just a song called The Voice, and he already alluded to calling himself The Voice, period. But
some real British things.
But like, I wanted to highlight it because he had features like Black, he had YNW Melly, he had Thug, and he had King Von, R.I.P., and Buka 600.
Is the YNW Melly feature old?
It's got to be old, yeah, because it didn't sound like it. Which, once again, I don't know his situation, so I don't know like how he goes about recording. But it sounded too clean to me to be a verse that wasn't made in a studio, like a professional.
And I know he's been going through a lot with the charges, so I don't know how long he's been out of that. But not to dwell on that or anything.
But my favorite song on that is "Still Trappin'" by Lil Durk and King Von. One is just R.I.P. to Vaughn, because like we still joke every single day just about like, it'll be jokes of course, but it's really like riddled in sadness for like his trajectory, because like there were just specific types of flows that King Von had that were some of our favorites in hip hop.
It was like, so unique, because not even like the flow, but the way he integrated it into like his artistry,
his storytelling,
just telling these stories was like different. It wasn't something you really saw all the time. I'm not saying like I'm not trying to compare him to other people, but the way he did his art and the things like that, it was almost like reminiscent of me listening to like older J. Cole and hearing the stories he would tell, and I felt like I was there. Like I closed my eyes, I visualize it, and I'm there.
So definitely big shout out to Durk, big shout out to Vaughn and every other member on there. But that's all I have for music, so go ahead.
I know it's a little bit past the time now, but I did want to highlight this. But again, we've taken a little bit of a hiatus. So that Pang Black Girls remix with Any featuring Georgia Smith, I got to go ahead and show those young black women some love, because every bit of that song was just hard for the raps, the singing with the instant transition, Georgia not giving it a second to breathe at all, popping and singing was beautiful. It was just a whole vibe, and I know the Colors performance is kind of what put everybody on notice to it, but it was dope because if you watch it out fully too, and he's got a little bit of swag to her, to where she's just like super casual with certain stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if it's like a British girl thing, because I saw her do it, and I see like you remember Adele when she's like yelling at dude on the phone or whatever, popping out the car with the little fingers out like thing. When people start hopping in that bag, they're just talking some real, I don't know,
they're talking that talk.
They're talking. So that super shout out to them. That song was great. 2 albums that I meant to like kind of talk about if a little bit, because I know some of them we still need to digest a little bit more. Whole Lot of Red finally dropped.
Oh yeah, Whole Lot of Red did.
You already know what it is. Whole Lot of Red. Cardi back out. First off, super sad that he did the world a disservice with this one, not getting a feature from Uzi and creating another 10 out of 10 song, because every song they've made together has been a 10 out of 10. Debate Your Mother, Don't Debate Me. I needed that, but past that, it was good. I don't know. I started off a little shaky when I was just going through some things, but like towards like, I know there was a bunch of jokes on it, but towards the second half of it, it just felt like straight bangers. So I want to.
Went crazy.
I need to give it a second when I'm not in it's a cold out, I'm trying to be cuddled up with someone's daughter vibe. I'm trying to like get back to it when I'm trying to be on my demon mode. But yeah,
Sky and I Love You, I Hate You, the ones for sure. Oh my gosh, Whole Lot of Red was fire too. So like Ezigo said, it was very second half loaded for me. But I heard, once again, I was somebody that tried to not listen to the leaks, even though I heard the leaks were fantastic. I wasn't like some virtuous dude. I just did not care enough to go download the leaks and put them on my phone. I've been on my lazy tip with downloading.
I don't like, bro, leaks are a lot of work, man. Like when everything's readily available to you on these apps, I don't even go to SoundCloud for certain things anymore. Exactly. Why am I about to go try and do the most to get some leaks on my phone?
And there was like a leak at one point that it was like a Lil B discography leak. You know what I'm saying? Like it looked like a gigabyte of songs. I was like, bro, I'm just gonna wait for the real release.
It's like, what am I doing? But I know past that there was one more thing, since this was a little bit older too, but not the most, I guess. Which I got my heat check from the Jack Harlow album. It was actually really good. I know listening to it, I'm not saying it was like 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 or whatever. It was like a solid 7 out of 10 to me. I really enjoyed the fact that he comes with a certain level of like confidence and swagger that I feel like is reminiscent of someone my age who grew up listening to Drake. And you could definitely hear it in his sound. So I'm excited to see where that goes, especially with him actually getting better at, I feel like, portraying that confidence and that feeling in like a better poetry, a better like actual like, not saying rhyme schemes, but different like usage of words and shit, and like painting that image a little bit better. But it was dope to see that. And I like seeing the dude who doesn't seem like, again, time will tell, but he doesn't necessarily seem like someone who's just like ripping off the culture and like using it for what it is and trying to get popping and then dipping and things like that. Seems like he's very okay with the fact that he is ultra white. Yeah. He don't look any different.
I love him not trying to be anybody else and just being himself, true. Like down to the 990s and everything. Like he's just always gonna stay himself, which I really do appreciate with Jack Harlow. So shouts out there. Do you have any other drops to talk about, or do you want to get into the news a little bit?
That seems about it for me, so let's go ahead and get right into it.
Alrighty, and I'm gonna skim over some of these. You stop me if it's something you really want to dive into, just because some of these are older, right?
This man really about to skim through
For sure. Like, some of these should not be skimmed through, but I'm going to skim through anyway. Just because of the way Wayne's been going out lately, and I don't want to get too much into his personal business because we don't have too many details as
None of
well.
my business.
And so I just wanted to touch on the fact that Wayne did end up selling his masters for $100 million, which sounds like a ton of money and is a ton of money, obviously. But I mean, somebody like a Lil Wayne, like all of his masters and the way he's carried some of these buildings.
Was it
I feel like
all of his masters, or was it a certain percentage? Because I feel like that's also important to know here.
I didn't look into the documentation 100%, but from my understanding, it's all his masters. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And like, that's somebody that like, that looks like he shot himself low a little bit for me, especially because these masters did include like old like Drake and Nicki Minaj like albums and things like that. And we saw the numbers they did. We saw that they still get played. We still see that they're some of the top songs.
I was just listening to So Far Gone.
You feel me? And so that was a little bit perturbing to me. There was the Saweetie hard drive. Like,
I was gonna say, I want to stay on the Lil Wayne.
Oh, go hard.
It's kind of interesting when, not trying to like again compare artists or anything, but when no matter who you think is bigger from how you're jaded or not, I know Lil Wayne is bigger to me than Taylor Swift, but Taylor Swift, she wasn't able to, but Scooter Braun was able to sell a partial list of her masters and like her discography
for over 300.
Over 300. I think it might have been about over 300, close to 400 million if I'm not messing that up a little bit. So that's just like insane, the amount of money that was left on the table. And B, it's like, who was making this deal? Because it really felt like some more Dave Chappelle talking about sitting with the lawyers, and it's like, wait, are all of y'all in on this? You know?
That's funny as well. But that is interesting. We're gonna wait for more data to come out. Praying for Wayne, genuinely praying for his mental health, praying for his safety, praying for him to be delivered from the situation that he's going through currently that we're not speaking on. Yeah. But that is just hoping the best there. Moving on, there was the Saweetie hard drive shit. I don't remember if they figured out if that was real or fake. That shit was just kind of funny. That nigga was really masked up with the little like voice discernment like stuff that was just like making it shaky, talking about, I have your hard drive, this is your money. He whipped out his like roll of Magnum condoms. He was like blah 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 blah. He even like played a song off of it to prove that he had his hard drive.
It's like, really,
We've seen some creative, wild, like fake incident rollouts in the last few years, so I don't know if this is a rollout or if this is something serious. If it's definitely something serious, I hope it's not like the Kanye like laptop
Saweetie
stuff.
don't seem like the type of person that this would be.
I don't put anything past anybody in 2020, bro.
I mean, that's true, but like, he just feels like way too much of a bro, you're doing too much kind of guy to do all that work, unless somebody came up with it for him and was like, you got to act on this and this is how we're gonna do this.
I'm saying it could be the label, dog.
That's crazy.
And the label's been doing some weird stuff.
Would you rather it be the label or his cousin?
I'd rather be his cousin, like I'd really rather be his cousin. Like, he really just got down bad off something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Kanye, my bad.
And then another thing that I wanted to point out in music adjacent news is I wanted to talk about the fact that I want to just give a big shout out to Saweetie, because we love Saweetie and we will always love Saweetie.
Yeah.
I love you, Saweetie.
Look,
I love you, Saweetie.
Saweetie, but talking about that one podcast, I apologize. You know, it was all jokes.
I think you're the best rapper alive. But
I don't agree with that, but we love you.
But she just recently dropped a line with Fashion Nova, and so I think that's just big shouts in general.
Yeah, that's major.
Especially seeing like Saweetie's one of those people, all jokes aside, that seems like she truly understands her fan base and truly understands the internet, because she does like the random like alluding to sexual thing every so often, because she knows that 99.99999% of human beings on this planet that are heterosexual males are thirsting after her on the internet. So I mean, she's not dumb to that. So she's
got big sex appeal.
Yeah. So she noticed like Quavo bought her like a gift or something that she wanted, and she tweeted like the meme of like the hair tie up with like knee pads and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my god.
I spent way more time looking at that tweet than I should have.
Way more time. I favorited it 4 times. You can only favorite something once.
He had to undo it. He's like, should I? It goes back again. It repeats 3 more times.
So shouts to Saweetie there. But then there's
Fashion Nova bag crazy too, because
craziness.
Look, Fashion Nova sponsor us, you know.
Oh, here it comes. You gotta lead with love.
Fashion Nova sponsor us, but I'm just gonna say this: no matter how anything looks, and so I don't know which kind of creative people they got on it. Look, we could be those creative people. I can come
better
with
than them.
Great products that y'all can do with the line for us. Just trust me, hit my line, and we'll work something out. But the fact that I was watching a Gervonta Davis fight, and this man who's intertwined with the likes of Mayweather and having his whole side promoting him and just kind of having all these big names and big money behind him is coming out rocking the Fashion Nova trunks. I know they had to pay out the bag for that.
Big bag.
I know they had to. So I know she's making money. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see it, you know?
Yes, sir, Ski. And then there's, I wanted to talk about Roddy Ricch and Travis Scott. Apparently they have a song coming. So I'm interested more than anything to see how that sounds, but B, just like where Travis Scott is nuclear. And with Roddy Ricch's hype he's built in the last year, the most talked about snub in people's eyes when it comes to like the Grammy stuff, like what would do you even have expectations, or are you ready to just accept greatness?
Look, there's no way not to have expectations. I have expectations when I hear, I'm not going to say the people anymore, but let them try and make certain artists look bad. But hearing these two names and knowing how much, at least for me personally, I like all of their music. Travis Scott, Roddy Ricch has a case of breaking into my top 10 if like his favorite artist all time. Essentially, if he stays on the run he is, just for the way his music hits me. So like, and already knowing where I hold Travis Scott, it's like, how can you not, bro? They make hits.
Great.
And not just hits that are like, damn, it does numbers. They make hits that become solidified in your mind for a moment.
It looks like to me, and this is going to be said with the most love as somebody who truly loved Astroworld and a lot of the stuff that came after it, it's felt a little bit like Travis has been sleepwalking. Mm-hmm. And so like now that, which he deserves to do, especially putting in that much work to such a fantastic work of art like Astroworld, but it's like, now I feel like with the announcement and kind of building up the hype behind a song with the likes of like a Roddy Ricch, you know that's not somebody Travis is about to sleepwalk on. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like they're about to make something beautiful. I'm excited for it.
This is tapping into that bag of like, again, because he's always been like an innovator with the sound. Even though like there's been things that stick from project to project that you can see him carrying over, he's always been somebody that's dropped a relatively different project. And sleepwalking for a certain amount of songs, you know, after he dropped
We've seen Drake sleepwalk. You know what I'm saying?
That's
We've
not
seen
that
people
big of a deal.
sleepwalk. It's okay.
Yeah, we're getting closer to a point though where he's gonna drop another album. So I feel like he's tapping back into the mode of I'm an innovator. I'm trying to create something that I like. And when Travis Scott's making music he likes, he can't lose.
And it's honestly just like 2021 is going to be year of the heavy hitter again, and I love the year of the heavy hitters because literally everyone will drop in those calendar years and you'll just be able to see. And just knowing like if Travis Scott's dropping a single with Roddy Ricch, I'm assuming an album's coming next year. You know what I'm saying? Like when next year, who knows?
November.
So I'm excited.
I'm saying
to see
it
that.
now. It's coming November.
I'm excited to see the Drake project that we've been teased for so long. I'm excited to see just like whatever else is coming in 2021. I'm just ready for this year to move on. Things don't magically heal, but just as time goes forward, things get better. And obviously as things get better and being welcomed into this new period with such good music, I'm ready for it. But the next thing I wanted to talk about on the music side is, music adjacent side is Young Thug. Young Thug, it's an interview with Gilly, and Gilly was asking him questions. And one of the first things that happened, I wanted to mention two things before we got into the discussion that we mean to have with this. One, from the little snippet we saw, I think the interview is going to be out by the time y'all see this. We may revisit this once we see the full interview and see all of context. But one I wanted to say was it broke my heart seeing him talk about Wayne. Just because once again, nobody knows what mindset Wayne was in. Nobody knows like what was going on. But the way Young Thug like coming up would talk about the fact that he only liked one artist growing up, like nobody else. He only listened to Lil Wayne and his own music. That's it, like nobody else. And so like he said the first time he met Wayne wouldn't even dap him. And then he said the next time he tried to dap him, it was like one of those like quick like kind of disrespectful things. And it was just like, oh, okay, I'm never touching your hand again. Like it
makes the barter six make
a lot more sense. Truly
make a lot more. I thought he was just being irrationally disrespectful, and then hearing this is like, damn, I know that pain.
Oh, definitely.
I don't know that pain, my bad, but that has to hit different.
One of his idols too, his only idol, you know what I'm saying, in music at that point. And so that, and then Thug saying something interesting. He said he lowered his price because it's a pandemic, right? And he said he lowered his price to $1 million a show. Like, we know Young Thug's pull, we know Young Thug's clout, we know Young Thug's reach, but it's just like, if we want to take his word for it, because a lot of people do embellish.
Can I say something?
I could see why niggas are upset that they're not doing shows
this
right now.
Is the only acceptable time, realistically, that anybody can utter the words pandemic. if this kind of money is on the line. This man lowered his price to $1 million. I understand what they're talking about now. Pandemic for sure.
And then I'm gonna try. That's fucking hilarious. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna try to articulate this in the best way too. And then Young Thug made a comment which seemed to ruffle feathers, where he said that, respectfully, because he said people in Jay-Z's caliber that you think of like old artists, legends, but he did use Jay-Z as the reference point. So for sake of conversation, we're going to start there.
He spearheaded their generation, man.
Well, he said that he can perform at any stadium across the world right now, 30 songs, and everybody's going to know all of the words to those songs because like he knows his pull, he knows exactly, he's been there. And he talked about even being like behind legends in certain like big shows, festivals, etc., knowing songs that he would think are poppin', think that everybody knows, and then people not even like mentioning words to those songs and not even really singing along to the lyrics. And so like my main thing would be, I guess from the Young Thug Jay-Z standpoint, there was basically him talking about the fact that artists in that caliber wouldn't be able to play 30 songs with people actually knowing the words or being able to say anything towards them. And Esgo said that he wholeheartedly agrees with that one.
Look, point blank, simple and period. Whatever. He's right. And it's not any disrespect to these kind of people, because, you know, for a point, and not a point, like there's still people who are younger that, you know, listen to their music, but these are an older generation. And I'm sorry to break it to you, I've been to concerts, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking around, you don't see 40-year-olds walking around like I'm just here, like in the mass like of them. There might be a few here and there, but that's never really the case where it's just majority, right?
They're not crying out for song cry?
No, like I'm telling you right now, these people go out and they're going to do a few songs that are just blowing things off, but then for the next 15 minutes it's quiet, and that's not bad. That's okay when you're doing that big of a show, you know. But a person like a Young Thug, I believe it. I believe the 30 and everybody's going crazy the whole time because I've seen it. I've seen it on a much less tip,
and to be honest,
much lower artist.
That's what I want to say. Like, to be honest, I wanted to argue it just because of who I am and how I view that music, but like I've used the same story, but I have to be honest. Like I'm 26, about to be 27 years old in 2 weeks. Like, dog, I've never been in a situation in my life until just hearing young people play music where the remix to Ignition, we don't like to give ups to R. Kelly or whatever, but y'all know the magnitude of that song. Like, that is a song that you just hear the starting chords and you instantly know exactly what song is playing. I was in a room with a bunch of 18-year-olds, like when I was managing the smoke shop, and that song was playing. And they were all asking, what song is this? So like, just seeing that with my own eyes, taking myself out of the bubble where I felt like that was impossible, like truly, like
the youth forgets things.
Youth do forget, and things move on. So I mean, like, yes, Jay's one of the biggest, if not the biggest artist of all time. Like, people have the Drake arguments, and I would be somebody that argues Drake, and that's fine. Rap artist, but it's like, I don't know, like, I think he didn't really say anything crazy there. Like, we've been to shows and just seen this kind of stuff.
I know, like, it's just kind of crazy, man, because with giving some respect to it, though, because, you know, I always try and find the silver lining. It's like the time I went to Camp Vlog. I'm going to be telling this story like I'm talking to my fucking kids. My freaking kids, however so many years later. Like, y'all won't understand about 2016. No, but seeing, like, a legend come out and perform, it's not the same. Obviously, people aren't going to know all the words to every song because Erykah Badu came out, right? And so people didn't know the words to every song. I didn't. I know that for sure. But when you're viewing it and you're in the audience and you're part of it, I was further back for hers because I couldn't make my way to the front of the stage at that point. But it felt like the whole audience, however deep that side was, because it was the main stage, obviously, everyone was in a trance. Even if they didn't know all the words and even if they couldn't like really join in like that, everyone was put under a spell because in some sense we got to witness greatness. So I feel like they have the same effect, but it's not going to be like you're watching a movie of people in their early 20s just getting rowdy to like these songs, because that's for the youth.
For sure. But like, one other thing that I was going to say is just like moving right along from the Young Thug and the music session stuff, since I do agree with you. Like, this is something that usually me and Ezra will butt heads a little bit with little stuff like this, but honestly, like, I can't question the youth. I don't completely know what goes on from the like 18 to 20 something range that are the main people that are buying these stadium shows and like going to these festivals, you know.
I remember you
like,
told me DJ Khaled was bigger
honest,
than Tyler at that moment.
Yeah, like I'm saying, I'm jaded. Like I have to be real. Like I'm jaded in like my perception there, and I got shut up quick once I saw like the real feeling behind that stuff. And so yeah, I guess we'll just give it up to the youth there. But moving right along, there were a couple things that I wanted to point out before we get into sports and then just like wrap it up for the day since it is kind of late. We got a later start today. One about the suicide bomber in Nashville. That was definitely such an eerie thing to read, especially because earlier like my roommate put me on some games since I feel like I must have been living in a box or something because I've seen this dude's picture over and over on the TL. I was like, oh, what is this weird ass like old white dude doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like with this mugshot that people keep retweeting or keep posting. But like I wasn't really reading much on it, but just hearing the fact that he had like the evacuation sirens on his truck just like eerily playing like get out, like everybody leave, like all of that, and then the incident happening, that scared me like just in retrospect, and I didn't even watch the video.
It's like that's thankfully so I saw there was no, again, I think this is updates I saw yesterday, there were no major injuries and there was only 2 people that might have been like somewhat hurt. So luckily no one really got hurt, but it's incidents like these that are just like what the fuck is going on, like pardon like my French, but what is going on? So I don't know, man. It's just hopefully that Nashville can like breathe for a second and everyone can kind of come together and be all right, because I know especially on Christmas and going into like the rest of the holidays, just finishing up with New Year's, that puts a damper on a lot of things. So
sure. And then we'll go more into detail with that once we get more information, of course. Probably break down some of these next things a little bit more on the next episode, just because now we're back on schedule, back on your regularly scheduled programming. We're done with our break, chilled out a little bit.
Who's done? I'm always on vacation.
Right?
On vacation.
And so, like, I was gonna give like a very, very surface, I guess, breakdown of the stimmy, but really, like, while the vote still has to go to the Senate, I want us to give a better rundown of the whole total package.
The thing, it's been approved, but they're making an amendment to it, or an addendum to change the amount of, like, I guess, directly going to the people. But I can't tell you how much is being approved for the whole thing. I think it's like, it's fuck, because is it 3 something or is it 9 something?
I think it was over 900. Are you talking about million?
No, it was more than that. It was billion.
No, it was something trillion for the total.
Trillion. I was about to say, like,
I was saying like the relief part of it.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I don't have the specific numbers for that on the people, but I know grand scheme of things, for the things that really do affect people on the day to day, you're gonna have $300 boost to
your
weekly unemployment payments, as well as $600 coming directly to the people in a form of confirmed for the stimulus. However, it did just get passed in the House to bump up to $2,000, so the Senate's gonna have to vote on that again. I think tomorrow, like you said, and we'll see that kind of come to full effect or not. But either way, come early January, that's gonna start rolling out. So we got that. You got your refunds. It's time to get breaded up again, my people.
it's a pandemic again. But then I guess in closing, we have certain sports stuff for
Ja
sure,
Morant,
but like we want to give prayers to Ja Morant, of course. Like they said it's just a sprain, but we'll get most of the data like coming soon. But really, I wanted to just scratch what we normally do to wrap up the podcast. And I want to just ask you a question, like truly. And this isn't like a catch you off guard question or anything. It's not like that.
Okay, because you already saw like
I saw the side.
Like, really, like, bro?
No, I want to just go ahead and ask you, just after Christmas and just heading into the new year, just like how are you feeling? Like truly, just like mental wise, where are you? Because that's important. That's definitely important.
I'm doing really good, and to be honest, I know I'm not where I want to be right now in terms of waiting on these people, these lovely individuals, Chuka and DJ, to move out of this place so that I can get myself resituated in the perimeter and be back in a part of the heart of Atlanta. But obviously not being location-wise where I want to be, I am exactly where I need to be mentally. And I'm tackling full-time school again. I basically had a semester off while I was taking one class to be able to take any more classes. So I'm back full-time with school and accomplishing and knocking out all my goals. So everything feels possible, and it feels like I'm ready to be just back in the thick of it. So I'm doing good, man.
Exactly.
What about you?
I mean, I'm feeling relatively the same, to be honest. Like from an exterior outlook, like certain things in my life are exactly not where they're supposed to be. Oh no, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be always, like truly. But certain things are not where I want them to be, of course. But like this is probably like the most hopeful and like looking forward I've been in a long time, right? And it feels kind of like, and maybe like this helps speak it into existence, like whatever. But like this period that we currently are, like feels the most, I can say honestly in my life of like a for certain level up, if that makes sense. Like it feels like finally like grabbing the top of the stair and like I see the next one that you're pulling yourself up to so you can start tackling those challenges and go on and try to do the next one. And so like I feel very positive, very hopeful. Like I feel nothing but hope. Like there's no lacking there. I don't feel down. I don't feel dark. I don't feel sad. I don't feel disturbed. Like a lot of the things that I came into this new year feeling, like I'm leaving this new year with all of it left
like
from
you
me.
sorted it, man.
For sure. Like I feel like I figured out my mental. I figured out like my friends. I figured out like my family. I figured out like relationships like with people in general. And I've kind of figured out like how I maneuver. I'm going to continue to learn and grow every day, but I feel like I'm in such a good point right now that I can do nothing but thank God and like hope to accept more blessings and keep moving forward. Because like dog, it seems like now that I finally like it clicked for me a little bit of like what I want to do, where I want to be, and like how to get these goals done. I'm about to be busier than I've ever been, but I feel like the most at peace that I've ever felt with it. And on top of that, like dog, like I can only say like truly it just feels, it's like I got out of my way, and I feel like, and that's something that a lot of people are doing right now, which I pray for y'all truly, because I know how hard it was for me to get to this point. It took damn near 27 years, but it's like, I finally feel like I got out of my way mentally, and every day it seems like a new blessing is coming into my life. Like it seems like more and more is being given to me because I'm ready to receive that shit.
We obstruct ourselves so much, and you said something so powerful, and I'm so happy for you that you were able to come to all these self-realizations and kind of set yourself up moving forward to just be the best version of you. I personally, and I know it's something that a lot of people have gone through during the pandemic, but that's been probably most important to me, and you mentioned on it, is the fact that I feel like I feel like I'm someone who's always struggled with maintaining a long-term interpersonal relationships with friends, not family, to some degree, past my immediate, loved ones, and just this, that, and the third. But it's like I fixed every relationship that ever went south in life that I care to, and
That's
all
the
of
main
that,
thing.
because I don't. Some of them you don't care to, and like you're not going to be good with everybody, and some are fine.
You can
like
only
things
stretch
fade.
yourself so much.
But the ones I do care enough about, I made the active effort to fix, and that's one of the most important things to me, at least right now, because it's taught me how to be more effective with that moving forward, and hopefully, I never get to the point again where I'm hitting some people up after like all this time, like, hey, what you been up to?
You feel me? And so like, and one of the number one things that I want to say is a big shout out to Chichi and Uzoma for being on our Christmas special, and a big shout out to my mom, dad, cousins, like everybody in my family, because I feel like a big thing I accomplished this year as well was just getting to that inseparable, like close place with my family. I feel like a lot of relationships like were strong, but like the way they've gotten stronger was something I didn't know was possible. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
And so my name is Chuka.
My name is Ezigo.
And this is the Offspace. Hey, yes, sir, ski.